Right, today's task for the Ford Fiesta is we're going to be fitting a rear torque mount, which should be quite a straightforward task. It should just be 2 bolts and maybe need to lever the engine to get the bolts back in, but it shouldn't be very difficult. And what we're going to be fitting is down here, which is Airtec. Now this is the middle one. They did like a road one, and this is a fast road and sort of mild track use, not the solid track use one. I think the track use one is a black bush maybe, and the road one I'm pretty sure is a yellow bush. This one's a purple bush, and these are the other parts we need. So it's obviously got 2 more washers, and then there's a spacer which I think fits on that piece there. Space it across into the, I think it's in the subframe, that one, or the gearbox, whichever side, but we'll find out when we take the other one off. And it doesn't come with bolts, so I assume that the original bolts will fit it just fine. Find out when we take it off. So first thing we need to do is, which is the car's there, is we need to jack it up and get it on some axle stands. And also, due to the fact that my driveway is slightly sloped, and I've made this mistake before, I'll put some wheel chocks in it just in case, just for safety. Right, so the car up in the air, you can see now. Here we go. This is our torque mount there. Well, our original rubber mount there. So what we're going to have to do is, we just need to take out this bolt here and this bolt here. Now I think this is a captive nut on this side, and that threads into the gearbox. So yeah, looks like it's a captive nut there on this one. So we just need to move these 2 bolts, and then this mount will swing out. But with a bit of luck, the exhaust is attached to the gearbox, so maybe it'll keep it in place. If not, we'll just lever the engine back with a bar. It shouldn't move too far anyway, hopefully. That's the theory anyway. It should still be actually in a reasonable position to put that back together. Got it like that. Let's try it one-armed. Well, that hasn't even cracked, that's weird. But that's coming. Okay, so that's started to slacken, so that was a piece of piss. Yeah, that's off. Right, excellent, let's go for the next one. Also 13, not 15, I do apologise for that. Yeah, that's coming as well. Right, that was dead easy. So, now, I will just wind these bolts out, and then let the engine swing to where it's going to swing, which hopefully isn't going to be too far away. Hopefully it doesn't move at all, really, but you never know. And then we will get this mount out. So, carry on. So the slight positive sign there is that I've taken this bolt out, and it's not gone anywhere, so it's not actually connected anymore. Obviously that bolt's still in, but this isn't connected to anything, and it hasn't moved at all. So this might go back together really easily, which is what I'm hoping, and kind of what I did hope, but you never can tell. Sometimes you take these out and the engine swings away, but obviously this one doesn't, so that's kind of useful. I'll just get this last bolt out, and then we'll go and sit this mount side by side with the new one, and we can work out what we're doing with it, because obviously it's got some washers, but it only seems to have 3 washers, which is confusing me slightly. We'll see. So I did actually have to remove this exhaust bracket, which is just bolts the downpipe. It was just 4 nuts, but for whatever reason this seems to be stuck inside this bracket. So hopefully when I get that nut off I can work out why, and then see what I need to do with this piece here to fit the new one, because that's a bit confusing. I would have thought that would have just came straight out of there, but it doesn't. So yeah, so basically I'll just get this nut off here, and then that'll come off, and we can see why that's not coming out of there. I don't know if I have to smash it out or whatever. We'll have a look and see what happens then. But yeah, that was dead easy to take off as well. So far I've taken out 2 bolts and 4 nuts, and that's it. Right, so we're back in the garage, which is a whole 6 foot from the car, but if you look there, that looks like it's fused itself to it. It shouldn't be part of it, because that's like an alloy, and that's not. So, and I need this piece, so I do have something that's called a defuser. It's that. So with a bit of luck I can smash it off. I'm hoping I can. I can't see why I shouldn't be able to, but we'll have a go. It should just smash off, like, because I need this. I don't think you can buy that separate. Well, you probably can buy it separately, but I'd rather not buy one if I can just knock it off with a hammer. Looks like it's actually moved a bit, so what I'll do is I'll get a chisel down there maybe and try and start prying it, and then yeah, then we can look at fitting this new mount with its questionable amount of washers. I think I'm missing a washer. No, there's a 2 on there. No, there's 1 on there. Right, I don't know, maybe I'm not missing a washer. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, so just braid a ball joint splitter that I have. I've never used that before, which is useful. And I'll just braid it down the side of there, and off it popped. So we now have this back, which is the one thing that we do need. And then we can start assembling this, which I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably put the 2 washers on the back of there, so that mounts into the car. And then I guess that's probably not going to need a washer on there, because that's going straight to that, so it just needs a washer on that side, I'm guessing, and those 2 washers will go on there, and then that will return itself back to, I think it's that position there, sort of way around with that washer there. So this is quite a few washers and bits to go back together, but what I can do is I can push the bolt through there and through that all in one go, and that at the other side, and then tighten that up into the car, obviously after I've got that piece loosely bolted in. Now if you're doing this, one bolt's longer than the other. The front bolt is the long bolt and the back bolt is a short bolt, so it's pretty straightforward. These 2 washers are actually a bigger hole, so they do only go on the back, and this one is a smaller hole. Now as I say, I only have 1 of these. I assume it doesn't need a second one because the spacer goes on the other side of it. I've loosely fitted that bracket that I had to smash off with the hammer back to the car. Yeah, so we're going to first off start by installing that in, which doesn't feel like it needs washers at all. That's fucking tight in there. Sorry, that's very tight in there, so I ain't going to get a washer on there. So I'm not sure why I have those. It's not going to fit at all. I won't get it in it at all, so yeah, so I don't think I'm going to need that. And then, right, so that's, I don't understand why I have the washers. I don't understand, because that's going to be tight as anything in there, and I don't get what the washers are for. I don't understand. Definitely can't fit them in the back, there's just no room. That's really tight to fit in the first place. And also you're tightening your metal against your metal sleeve, same as you are there actually, so I don't understand why you need washers. Because the original actual rubber mount won't have had washer, well, it didn't. It's just got like a same against metal sleeve with rubber. I may go back and check a picture and see what the washers are all about. And I had to do a bit of Google image searching to find this out, because obviously nothing comes in instructions in cars anymore, but that washer goes that side, because you won't need one there anyway, because that's your metal bracket. It sits like that, and then you've got your spacer that goes there. So because I had all these basically hand tightened dead loose, you know, everything's just wound itself back in. As I say, the engine didn't need moved across, it sat in its own position quite happily. So what I'll do is, see, that looks like it's going to be too long, isn't it? I'm just going to pull that like that. That can't be right. Don't know, we're going to have to nip it up and see what happens, I think. See how tight it goes, because that bracket's not going to sit right at all. Interesting. And then that's got a fair bit to go actually if I tighten it up, so yeah, we'll see. We'll nip this one up first, because that one's actually in hand tight as well, so that's not going to go anywhere, so I'm not worried about that one, that's fine. Give it a little couple more turns. It's got a little bit of movement but not a lot, and like I say, this bracket's not tight at all either, so don't have to worry about that one either. But we need to look at this bolt, see what happens when we pull that in, because that needs to go in quite far, and I'm not sure it will. Let's have a look. Yeah, well, it has actually pulled itself in, but I'm not entirely convinced on that. But what I'll do is I'll give it a week or so, and then I will come back and double check all these bolts again and make sure that they are actually tight and they haven't actually come loose, because it does seem to have a little kink in it, and maybe, I don't know, does it look right? I don't know, I'm not sure, but the bolt's tight, and that's tight, that's tight, and that's tight, so everything's tight. It's just got the heat shield to put back on, not the heat shield, the bracket for the exhaust to put back on. So yeah, everything all back together, everything up, everything tight, everything good. Don't know about them, I'm going to keep them just in case, because I'm wondering, do I need to space the back over slightly, but I don't know how I'd do that because they wouldn't fit in, because that bush is tight in there. They maybe need smashed in with a hammer. So I'm going to keep those in the car, and we're going to have a look at it in a couple of weeks time and see. Let's see what we have to do with those. I'm not entirely sure what they're for, so we'll keep them, because you never know. But yeah, it looks okay, seems okay. Hopefully it's going to drive a little bit better than it did. We'll go and have a look at the old mount. I don't think there's much wrong with it, but it did seem to move quite a lot. So I mean, it's not too bad. Really, you can see there. I mean, that's not me putting a lot of pressure on that, and you can see the rubber moving. But that's what it's designed to do. It's supposed to do that. It's supposed to have a little bit of give in it, but maybe it was a little bit too much give at like 600,000 RPM. I don't know. I think I changed gear about 6ish. It's got a little bit. There's a tiny little crack in it there. Tiny little crack in it, but overall it's not really in bad condition. So I think I'll keep it just in case. As I say, I've still got those washings, but I'll just keep that as a spare, because you never know what may happen or may not happen. So I'll add that to the spares bin, and I'll put those in my toolbox so I know where they are. They can live right there next to some other spare bits that I'm not sure what they're for. Cool. Job done. Right, so torque mount fitted. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the vibrations on idle. So first start. Barely feel a thing. Yeah, I can barely feel a thing. I think that's fine. Doesn't seem bad at all. Obviously when I change gears when I'm driving up the road, this should feel a lot better. We'll find out in a minute. But yeah, in fairness, I can't feel a single difference. Maybe a tiny bit, but we're talking like an absolute fraction. Nothing. Ignore that light. That's something I need to get fixed. I know what that is. But I can't fix it because I can't get the original probe out. But yeah, to be honest with you, I can't feel any difference. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Who knows? But anyway, that'll do then.